Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Paranormal Universe. This is your homegirl, Denise. Now, today's episode, we're going to talk about urban legends in Ojai, California. Now, if y'all don't know where that is, it's somewhere up toward Northern California, between LA and Northern California, so somewhere in the middle. Don't ask. Yes, I'm from California. I'm from Southern California. I'm not from Northern California. Let's get that straight. I crack myself up sometimes. So let's talk about this. So there are 5 ghosts that particularly haunt this local park called Camp Comfort County Park. Try to say that fast. The first ghost is of a bride who apparently is covered in blood while wearing her wedding dress. Doesn't that sound like Carrie there for a second? She's tall and slim, Carrie. Light brown hair and a veil covering her face. Minus the last 2. Well, the light brown hair could be blondish, but I think they're talking about Carrie. And they said that she was murdered by her greedy new husband, and is supposedly seen hitching a ride down the road. So, if you're in the neighborhood, you want to go check out Carrie, head out to the park. Second urban legend, is a spectral horsewoman that reenacts her death every year on her anniversary. The horse gets spooked by a snake, subsequently throwing her off to her demise. Yeah. Okay. It's canyon country. If you're going to go out on a horse anywhere near canyon country, be prepared to see snakes. It's a given. It's normal. And if you're an idiot and not pay attention and you get thrown off your horse, well, you know what? It's your fault, is all I gotta say. But she comes back and reenacts her death every year. That sounds like somebody, but I can't remember. Next is the headless motorcyclist that can be found rocketing down the lonely road. Story goes that he was forced off the road by a pickup truck and is decapitated by either a wire fence or a branch of a tree. Why does that remind me of a Dean? James Dean movie. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Hey, I'm just saying, urban legends. You can see the headless motorcycle dude, going down the street, just like the headless horseman. The next one is of a old Indian shaman sporting feathers in his hair. That I believe is natives used to live in that area, so that could possibly be true. So I have to do a little more research on that. But I will give you an update on that one. And here's a good one. And finally, the area hides the skeleton of a European vampire who lies staked inside a stone coffin guarded by a huge black phantom dog. Okay. All right. Awesome. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback, a little bit more information I found. So, besides the 5 spirits, ghost hunters have determined that there's even more spooks just north of the park on Creek Road near a 2-lane concrete bridge spanning San Antonio Creek. First, there are 2 young children dressed in 19th century style clothes. They walk along the rails of the bridge and finally jump off and plummet to the creek bed below. If you race to the railings, their forms will not be found on either side. Interesting. Next is a disembodied childlike hand that runs along the railings of the bridge. Then there's the ghostly school bus with the local legend, what have it, that went off the bridge in the 30s and 40s. You know the story, 12 kids, the bus driver died in the accident, that on rainy nights you could hear the screams of the victims. And the Ojai vampire. Now I'm going to read you a bit about the Ojai vampire. I'm trying to see, because I printed out some stuff, but I'm just going to read it and then you tell me what you think. The townsfolk got up in arms and realized that a vampire was in their midst, raided the vampire's ranch during the day. But the vampire was prepared for that, and he had a huge black phantom dog guard his stone sarcophagus. It also drank blood. So it's a vampire dog. Okay. Awesome. The ranchers eventually repelled the dog with silver crucifix and closed in the vampire above ground stone tomb hidden by underbrush and weeds. Realizing that its master was in trouble, the black beast charged the ranchers again, only to be turned away as he sprinkled holy water at the hell beast. Okay, I'm thinking Cujo here. Okay. I'm thinking Cujo / the Rottweiler from Damien. With the dog retreating, the ranchers... So, with this coronavirus epidemic that we have going on, you have many celebrities, you have actors coming in and joining the podcast community, and you want to jump into it. Well, if you haven't heard, there's a program that you can use called Anchor. Now, which is the easiest way to create a podcast. It's free. There's a whole bunch of creation tools that allow you to record, edit your podcast from your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer. It'll even distribute them for you. So it'll be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other podcast platforms. You can make money with your podcast with no minimum listenership. Like I said, we have a lot of celebrities, we have a lot of actors, actresses joining the podcast community. So they'll be making money because of their followers. Well, you can do it too. You could have 2 followers and still be making money. So it's an easy way to join the podcast community, because this program lets you make money with no minimum listenership. And it has everything you need from a podcast program all rolled into one. So if you want to join the community, don't forget to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started. Join us independent podcasters along with the celebrities and the actors and the actresses who are on the podcast community. So don't forget, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. The casket or stone sarcophagus is said to still be there, hidden among the brush and the weeds. It is an above-ground tomb with a window in it. You supposedly can peer in through the window and still see the skull of the vampire. It has been speculated that this legend came upon from possible real-life above-ground tomb. It is plausible to say the least, that an old family near the turn of the century could have buried their dead in this manner upon their estate. It is not only unheard of, but apparently the custom at the time in certain parts of Europe. Even the window in the stone coffin isn't completely unheard of, stating that, however, if you are wandering around Camp Comfort County Park, that you come upon a stone sarcophagus with a skeleton inside, don't pull the wooden stake, because we all know what happens when you pull the wooden stake. You wake up the Dracula, and then Dracula's going to be running around sucking everybody's blood and producing more Draculas, more vampires, and then we're going to be run by the world of vampires. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Charman story. Near the bridge, the ghost of Charman, a hideous, burnt beyond recognition spirit, emerges out of the forest and attacks motorists, especially those brave enough to get out of their cars and yell from the bridge. So popular in this legend in the area that the bridge has been dubbed Charman Bridge. First and foremost, why would you get out of your vehicle at night and yell Charman? Why? Are you dumb? Do you lack some brain cells? Apparently they do. But then again, we live in a world, in a society that people do some stupid things. Okay, yeah, let's continue. Possibly a ghost, possibly a hideous monster, Charman is no longer the man he once was. Now horribly charred, he is rumored to be covered in black, burnt, peeling skin, wearing little more than charred bandages, and supposedly emits a disgusting burnt smell. He used to haunt Signal Street and Shelf Road, but as those areas become more and more populated, the legend migrated to the lesser inhabited area of Creek Road. Part of the story involves stopping your car on the bridge, getting out and yelling, "Help me, help me." Oh my God, to which a Charman will come ramping out of the forest to attack you. As with all good legends, there are three different yet similar origins. The first and the second both occurred in a fire in 1948. The first story, a father and son are caught in a fire. Both are horribly burned beyond recognition. The father sadly passes away before help could arrive, and the son, meanwhile, goes insane from his injuries. By the time the rescue workers arrive, the son has skinned the father of the burnt flesh and hung his lifeless remains from the nearby tree. The son, of course, eventually escapes into the woods and becomes Charman. Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, no. No. In the second story, a husband and wife were caught in the fire. The husband, horribly burned and injured, hears his wife trapped by the blaze yelling, "Help me," over and over again. The husband, due to the fire and his own injuries, was unable to come to the aid of his wife, and lies unable to move, listening to her pleas for help as she's slowly consumed by flames. Again, the husband eventually becomes Charman. Supposedly, Ventura County Historical Museum claims that there were no victims in the fire of 1948. So these two origins already appear to have some flaws. There's yet a similar version floating around that states that the Charman was specifically a firefighter who lost his life fighting the same blaze. Finally, the last theory. This better be a good one. It takes place in the early 50s. It relates the story of a bad automobile fire. Some versions place the automobile accident actually on the Charman Bridge. Nobody knows. Again, it's a legend, in which the driver is hideously burned beyond recognition but managed to barely survive, escaping to the nearby woods to become the Charman. Some police officers yet to claim another origin. In the 60s, there was supposedly an elderly man who had a very bad case of skin cancer. His face and arms were badly disfigured and deformed. He didn't like to be seen and often took his dog for walks in the evening or late at night. During these strolls, he occasionally be seen by local youth who were frightened because of propagating the Charman stories. To muddle the tales even more, additionally later, there may even have been a Charman hoax performed, which adds even more speculation on the entire legend. Charman is such a famous local legend that there's even a hot sauce named after him. Really? Oh my lord. Charman's Revenge Habanero Pepper Sauce. Oh my god. This is so fucking... I'm looking at the picture. It's ridiculously. So, for this one, do you believe it's a hoax? Do you believe it's an elderly man who has cancer? Or the monster or the ghost victim of the 48 fire? Whatever he is, the legend of the Charman has now taken a life of its own and is just to be on the safe side. Perhaps you should avoid stopping on the bridge on Creekside Road. Well, first and foremost, I don't know if it's true or not. That's up to you. But I will tell you this. Do not stop on any road and yell out, because you don't know who's out there. You don't know, it could be some crazy meth head, crackhead, pothead, some tweaker out there come at you, see a car, see you, money, I need my next fix. Don't do that. That's totally dumb. But then again, we do work with some people. It is very interesting how these legends get created and started. Like the Ojai vampire, that's interesting, really. Like, okay, we have a vampire in Ojai. All right. With a phantom dog. That reminds me of Cujo and Damien's dog. All right. But like I said, these are urban legends from the city of Ojai. Urban legends are urban legends unless there's, some type of truth behind the legend. Now, I would say Charman would, if it was true, there was an accident, the guy did die, his son did go crazy, there's documentation of that, then okay, yeah, I'd be saying like, yeah, that's, I get it, okay, but there's no documentation, there's no proof. If there's no documentation or proof, it didn't happen and it didn't exist. So it's just an urban legend. I could be wrong. I could be wrong in lots of things. But again, this is just for you guys to see how these urban legends get evolved. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please feel free to send us an email at paranormalbuzzfeed.com. Great, Denise. Focus. Let's try that again. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or just want to give us some feedback, please email us to paranormalbuzzfeed@gmail.com. That's better. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the podcast on whatever platform you are listening to. And, just follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Give us some ideas of what you want to hear, what you want to hear less of, what do you want to hear more of. And, give us some questions. We can do a Q&A episode. We're still waiting for more listener stories to complete an episode. We're looking to make it an hour and a half episode of listener stories. So I'm not closing the door on that yet. We are still looking for more stories. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off and talk to you all later. Don't forget to subscribe, listen, and share this podcast. And don't forget to keep it ghosting. Bye.